And welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Heat, one play-in game down, one play-in game to go. The Miami Heat able to slay the Bulls in Chicago today, and there was one man who was the matador. The man that they call Boy Wonder. Man, they call Boy Wonder? Boy Wonder growing up before our very eyes. Baby Goat, Big T, Tyler Christopher Herro with a play-in game to send Miami to the next one. They take out the Chicago Bulls tonight. Your final score, 109-80 behind a 38-point performance from Tyler Herro. What a night it was for Tyler. He was absolutely fantastic. He came into this thing with a lot of confidence. I was a little nervous about it, and I'm not going to lie, when he's like, we should have won every one of them Bulls games. And I was like, yeah, all right, this is coming after the old the way the last one ended and all the fourth quarters, Tyler. That's how you're going to do it. And tonight, he not only carried Miami in a blowout first half, but when all of us were sitting around here with squeaky cheeks in that third quarter, Bulls are starting to get into it. Miami can't hit a shot. Tyler Herro basically said, you know what, guys? Ease in the tension, baby. Just ease in the tension. And he took it home for Miami with a big-time performance there in the fourth quarter. And really, let's just be honest about it, these referees completely f***ed him out of a 40-point game. I don't understand. Like, I was so incensed with rage on this foul call that they put on Tyler Herro that he kicked out like he was sitting here trying to trip Modest Buzelis. It was a natural shooting motion. The dude was nowhere near the play, cooked so bad. Tyler Herro is wide ass open, hits a three ball in his follow through. This dude comes running through like a maniac goof, trips over Tyler Herro, and they're like, that's an offensive foul. And I'm like, in what world does a guy get credit to wipe away a three-pointer because he was that far away from the play that he's running like a maniac into the play, and you have the audacity to say that Tyler Herro is out here with trickery on an offensive foul? I thought that was one of the most bullshit calls I have seen in my life, and I was incensed with rage, and I'm going to be honest with you, Miami was up, I think, 13 at the time, so it would have been a play for sure. They go up 17. Tyler's fixing, and I was like, they are going to completely the Heat out of this game, aren't they? Unsuccessful challenge by Eric Spoelstra. I was proud of him for even challenging it because I was like, oh, he's not going to challenge it. But he did challenge it. Tyler was having such a night. He was probably like, all right, I guess I got to go. And thankfully, even after that, Miami was not to be deterred. In fact, Tyler Herro, he would get fouled the next trip down after Miami was able to get the play. And he had a big offensive rebound from Kel'el Ware, set up Tyler Herro again. He'd go 2 for 2 for the line. And then probably what was the sealer of the night was Davion Mitchell, who you cannot speak. I mean, you could not speak any better about this man and the night that he had. But this play of demon defense that the man they call off night, Davion Mitchell, put on Coby White, it was hellacious. It was sensational. And to finish it off with the block to boot, and then hits the little runner to put Miami up 17. I was like, that's good. I enjoyed that play. Really was like thrilled to death with what Davion Mitchell brought to Coby White. Because Coby White, man, in a lot of ways, there was a couple of transition threes that if he would have hit them, you would have been, crapping your pants a little bit. Now, should he have taken the layups? And this is the audacity of the game today, is it not? You have easy give points and people want to make, they don't want to take ground rule doubles. They want to hit grand slams. And it cost them on a couple of transition threes. Miami got lucky. It was wide open. They were in and out, but it was not to be. So big play by Davion Mitchell, and then Tyler Herro just starts getting going, hitting the runner. He gets fouled on the floater. They couldn't stop him. And then just to really put the hammer on it, cooks Red Velvet to put Miami up by 20, 38 points on the night, and Miami would take this puppy home. I mean, it was a great performance from Tyler Herro, who really just had everything working for him tonight. A sensational game from Tyler, who started this game and had a perfect first half in this game. He finished the first half 23 points, 8 for 8, 3 for 3 from downtown, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. And it was crazy because there was like a loose ball, like his first miss. I felt terrible for him because it was like a loose ball. He was kind of rushed with it and hit it, and like it just broke up the rhythm. It kind of like broke up the rhythm of the night. Just something small like that. Miami in the first half, though, I mean, they really just carved up Chicago. It was a real tremendous thing to see. Tyler Herro, the swing of it probably in the game. Tyler hits a step back three to put Miami up 22-12. Heat forced a turnover, and that led to a Haywood Highsmith three ball, and you're just like, boom, we are off to the races. Andrew Wiggins had a really good game, but a sensational setting the tone defensively in the first half of this game. Wiggins would finish with 22 points, but he had a couple of steals in this one, really did some great bottling up of defense, just was a force in there. He was really, really good. And in the second half, like everybody just had a bad third quarter. Miami shot so well. I guess it was just natural that it was going to come down. You knew that the Bulls were going to give you whatever punch they had left in this game. And, you know, you have a season-high 24-point lead at the half. There was going to be natural letdown, but it was impossible not to have PTSD as a Heat fan. And I was feeling really good. I said this on the radio show today. I'm like, I feel like close game, I'm nervous. Blowout, if they're leading, I don't think the Heat will blow it. And I'm not going to lie, it was somewhere around like, it was like that flirting with the 15-point deficit the entire time, with the 15-point lead. I was scared, man. I was like, I can't. I was like, because you have all of these haunting feelings from the season. You know, that it's just a season unlike any other with this fourth quarter, and they're starting to bring it up on the broadcast, and Doris has the clutch stats out there, and I'm just like, oh, I cannot. It would be apropos, but I could not suffer such national shame as to blow a 25-point lead to be eliminated from the season. To have that, to if that was to be the stamp on the year, I mean, it's the appropriate death of the season, but God, I mean, what a bitter taste it would have been, because Miami just played so good in the first half. They were moving the ball like crazy. Tyler had everything working. And you know, I really thought between him and Andrew Wiggins just setting the tone like that, just really, really great games from them. Really, really great games from him and Davion Mitchell. I thought like those three were you know, just clearly your MVPs tonight. You know, not like the most sensational game from Bam or your bigs, but look, this game was a track meet. This wasn't a game that involved the bigs really at all. Like, not even Vucevic put a huge imprint on this one. It was because what was he in the first half? Yeah, like Vucevic was like 10 and 6. Like, they did a fine job. They didn't allow him to get off like they did. But Tyler Herro, man, you got to give it up for him, because from his standpoint, the thing that's impressive about it is, all right, when you're a leading man and your team is drowning a little bit and things aren't looking great, and even when things don't go your way, you know, you think about that bullshit call that they had on him. They're trying to steal from him. You're trying to steal from Boy Wonder. NBA refs, you're out here trying to Tyler Herro out of a 40-piece. NBA officials. I really hated that call. I really, really, really hated that call. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to be a grown-up about this. I was like, man, that felt to me like this is going to turn in an awful fashion. And no, instead, he comes back, gets eases, gets right back to the line. Davion Mitchell with the big play. And then, he just seemed like he had everything for this. I mean, the game was really cinched up and finished. Dagger put into it with Andrew Wiggins bottling up Matas Buzelis and Tyler Herro blowing past Kevin Huerter, who had his moments against Herro the last time that these two teams squared off. And then Wiggins would hit a 3 to boot to put the absolute hammer on it for good. But great performance by Miami today. They came out strong. And Spo talked about dancing with the fire. Listen, Miami seduced the fire on the dance floor today. They did. I mean, they showed the fire all of the moves, and they showed its sexy hips, and they led the dance. They said, "Can I have this dance, Fire?" And Fire enjoyed itself on the dance floor the entire night tonight. There was no burning. It was a beautiful thing to see. We were all just captivated by it. Perfect judges' scorecards on it. It was a beautiful dance. It quite frankly was a marvelous dance. And now Miami moves on to take on the Atlanta Hawks, who, look, you have the way that last game ended. Nothing is going to matter from this. I don't imagine the Hawks are going to have any hangover from the way they got the kicked out of them by the Orlando Magic. So you gotta recalibrate, because we've seen there's a lot of what Chicago does. There's a lot of what they can do. They have a lot of guys who can defend. They have a lot of guys who are lengthy and athletic. Spo has done a good job in his past of being able to limit Trae Young, but you think about the type of guys they have with like Dyson Daniels, and it's one of these things where you can't overlook them. I really hope that Miami does just put this of great. This whole thing that was past them, you got over it. You got over this hump, and you were able to put this demon that is the Chicago Bulls aside, and now you can lead up to this game against Atlanta. I imagine it being a less hostile, although that United Center was that place was a church tonight. It was so quiet, other than the boo birds that the Bulls heard. A little bit of a rally there in the third quarter, but no, they were. Take note, Lou Williams. Look, crazy thing, even in a town like Chicago, vaunted sports town, when your team gets his ass kicked, they head to the bleachers. Miami's a bunch of front runners. Yeah, nobody else does it though. Just this city. That's it. That's all, dude. Davion Mitchell, dude. Like, what can we say about this guy? He's so heat culture. Like, he oozes heat culture. When you talk about like the mantra and you talk about just being an absolute dog on defense, perfect game for him today. 15 points, 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from downtown, 3 of 4 from the line, 15 points, 9 assists, 1 steal, 1 block shot tonight for Davion Mitchell. Excellent. Just the well-roundedness from him and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins with two steals, 2 block shots to go along with his 20 points, his 9 rebounds. He was sensational. Bam tonight. Not the most efficient game in the world, but they didn't really need it tonight from him, thankfully. 15 points, 12 rebounds, gave you a couple steals. Kel'el Ware, even in his 22 minutes, like, had some big-time rebounds. Didn't necessarily have his shot tonight. There was a little lack of touch, I would say, around there for Kel'el, but I thought he had some big-time boards for some second possessions, particularly at the start of that fourth quarter. I thought that he came through in some big ways with that one. And Kyle Anderson and him even just kind of opened up the scoring to get it going. It was because the way that the third quarter ended, you had a terrible, I believe it was a Duncan Robinson turnover that led to a Giddey basket, and then Taylor Horton Tucker ends up with a jumper, cuts it to 14, and you're just like, oh my goodness. Got outscored 27-17 there in the third. Nervous. But Tyler Herro took it home, man. And so for him to have all of these things that, like, this is going to be a big test for him and Bam. And they talk about the leadership and the intangibles. That's all beautiful stuff. But you do have to have the on-court moments, and you do have to have the production. And a flying colors test today by Tyler Herro. He was friggin' awesome. Just had it working from everywhere. Had the 3-ball, and then today when they started throwing, you knew they were going to start throwing the doubles at him. Took it a little bit, almost like a little bit off the gas, and once he took a little bit of rest, comes back in and seemed like he was settled back down and was getting into the middle of the lane and hitting the floaters and the runners and the contact that he was drawing. Very, very, very frustrating for the Bulls tonight, trying to corral Tyler Herro. They couldn't do it. He had them in hell. He had them in complete hell tonight, and it was a masterful performance from him. In spite of what that Bob Myers had to say at halftime, just two things are bothering me about Bob Myers. Okay, one, his face and the hair, all the hair, but just his general mopiness. Because I always think about him and this, like, I think about that press conference he had when Kevin Durant got hurt, and I thought it was like the phoniest tears I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh my God, like, over the top much, Bob, you're trying to sell that? But not only that, he was like, we're sitting here, we always talk about celebrate the game, how things are going. Miami's up 71-47, and Tyler Herro had a perfect first half, and he's just like, but the Bulls aren't very good on defense. Hey, Bob. Bully for you, dude. Way to make the point, wet blanket boy. But how about, I don't know, you just give a little props where props is due. That's all. But no, he wanted to be this mope sitting there. And by the way, you didn't shut up in that pregame show. They're sitting here talking about this Nico Harris to be like, it's not easy running an organization and everybody's mad at you. Dude, you ran the Warriors, my friend. You ran the Warriors. What a tough life that you had to live over there. My God, there must have been so much pressure for you to have Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and then the cap opening up and Kevin Durant falling into your lap. Oh my goodness, what a dreaded life that you had. Why? Because you had to tank a couple seasons. Boo freaking who? Anyway, he's sitting here trying to defend Nico Harris, and I'm just like, are you out of your mind? This is what we're doing here. And Stephen A. Smith, they go to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. is like, I know he's gonna ham it up because that's what Stephen A. does, but he's just like, he couldn't even believe what he was listening to with him. And then UD, shout out, love having him on the broadcast. Cool to see him there on national TV there for the Heat game, and was very happy with tonight. Was very, very happy with tonight. Outside of a little bit of squeaky cheeks there in the third quarter. You know what, though? In a way, I think it's good for Miami because we've seen that go awry so many ways. There does seem to be Miami having a better grip on this last, dozen plus games that, has really been the turning point for Miami's season after that whole 10-game losing streak came to an end, that miserable 10-game losing streak. And it does feel like there are some things that are going away, and I think there's also some things they can improve upon going into this Hawks game. Like I think it wasn't just like you got a little pushback. You don't want to go in with like no resistance. Like you wanted to have a little feel of like, hey, there was some juice to this. There's little obstacles. You didn't want them to come all the way back, but even when they showed a little bit of life, you were able to put the hammer down on them. So I thought all that stuff was really, really important tonight for Miami. And sets them up well for Friday night.